What is going on, dudes? This is VaporTheGamer, and welcome back to another FNAF reaction. So, we have yet another FNAF Security Breach game theory video we're going to be checking out today. Yes, this man, a couple of days ago, oh my god, it's like more than a week now. I'm so behind. He made another Security Breach related game theory, and this one is titled FNAF The Secret Afton, and we're gonna watch it right now. Yes. So everything will be linked in the description down below, so you can check everything out for yourself, along with obviously Game Theory's channels. The Game Theorist, Mr. Matt Pat himself. Please go subscribe if you enjoyed all that. Also, if you can go check out the GoFundMe page that we have for Little Boy Atlas. Every dollar counts. If you can just donate a little, that'd be so fantastic. We've already donated so much, and I think we're almost halfway through the donation goal, so that's amazing. So I'm gonna play on this bad boy. 3, 2, 1. Boom.
Gregory, do you see that
My
bit
name's
of green spinach
Vapor.
in your teeth? Have you ever heard of Fortnite, Gregory? You need to floss. You need to floss, Gregory.
Come on, man. Really?
Well, this is embarrassing. I'm gonna let you guys have this one, and I'll see you next game. I always come back, and you know the bit.
Did we just win?
No, we did not, superstar.
Wait, what? Here we go again. Ruining your childhood since 2011.
Welcome to Game Theory, the show that's proud to pick the nerdiest option available.
Anyone that picks Monty Golf is just a nerd.
Woo! Gator Golf. Joke's on you, Mark. Fast
Yeah.
cam is OP. Plus, being a nerd allowed me to discover
I
the
did
secret
Monty's
daycare
Golf
room
first,
and sister
so
location
screw you,
room.
Marky
So
Moo.
who's the nerd now?
I didn't do that, but I definitely know what it looks like.
Me.
Yeah,
Still
we're the
me.
nerds.
Last time we dove into the time travel ball pit that is Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, I walked away with some, let's just call them divisive conclusions. Basically, it was an episode with 3 separate theories packaged together. We proposed one, that Glamrock Freddy wasn't just your average sentient animatronic, but rather was possessed by the spirit of Michael Afton doing
It really
everything
does
he
make
can
sense.
to protect Gregory. This one was generally well received, so cool, let's keep going. Why would Michael protect this random kid? Well, because 2, Gregory, whether literally or symbolically, is Michael's younger brother, FNAF 4's crying child. I started to lose people at this point, but it was really theory number 3 that threw us for a loop, because there's a good bit of evidence in both the game and in the history of the franchise to suggest that 3, Gregory is a robot, the crying child's consciousness literally transplanted into a robotic body sometime after he dies in the bite of 83. Oh, and there were a lot of strong opinions on that, with some people really liking the theory, and others, not so much. Suddenly I was flooded by people saying that I had rushed it out just to ride the trend, or that it was my dumbest theory ever, to which I say no.
come on now.
Deadpool is Ernest Hemingway is my dumbest theory ever. Closely followed by Wario being 10 feet tall. Anyway, the outcry was so huge that I ended up trending on Twitter because
why was
it, you know,
Tobey
didn't get
Maguire?
much better from there. Weird side note, later in the same week I was trending again because a group of performers juggled to the song Megalovania during an event for none other than the Pope. It only took 5 years, my friends, but it looks like that Steam code I gave him for Undertale finally paid off.
They called me a madman.
Anyway, like I said, a lot of heated opinions on the last one, with Twitter basically boiling down this 18-minute long 4,000-word theory down to this single image. So, yeah, thanks for not including literally anything else from that last video. So before we get to the next theory all about Vanessa, let me just address some of the biggest counterpoints I saw to the previous theory. Not because I'm convinced I'm right, far from it in fact, but because I think that the Gregory is crying child theory currently fits the best with everything the game has presented to us thus far. First, one of the key pieces of evidence last episode was this line right at the start of the game where Freddy says to Gregory,
I feel you are broken.
This, to me, was a clear connection back to the crying child from FNAF 4 where psychic friend Fredbear says to him, you are broken. I mean, kinda speaks for itself. It's a parallel that's made stronger when you actually remember how that line gets delivered back in that game. There was really no way of knowing back when FNAF 4 was released, but thanks to a secret room found in sister location, we know that psychic friend Fredbear is actually a plushie with a walkie-talkie inside of him. A walkie-talkie that allowed William Afton to scare and manipulate his youngest son. Father of the year, ladies and gentlemen. Also know that throughout FNAF 4, all of William's lines use the color FFFF57, a bright golden yellow. Golden bunny, golden yellow, makes sense. But the iconic final lines of "You're broken, I will put you back together" actually use a different color, a lighter yellow, FFFFA0. Back then, we never really came to a satisfying explanation. Was it a mistake? Was it another spirit? Was it maybe the puppet? But now, 7 years of investigation later, we know for sure. Someone else is indeed lead talking here. Someone who, in sister location, is mistaken for his dad. Someone who turns purple, just like his dad. Someone who can't die, like his dad. And someone who had the lines immediately prior apologizing to his kid brother, but when that didn't get through, decided to try comforting him through the voice of his best friend. It's Michael Afton, represented by a lighter color of yellow, a color that symbolically connects him back to his father. In short, we have Michael Afton in FNAF 4 saying the line, "You're broken," to his brother through the voice of a Fredbear plush. And here in Security Breach, if we're right about all this, we once again have him saying the same line, "You're broken," to his brother through the voice of another Freddy, this time Glamrock Freddy. I personally think it's a really cool narrative connection between all these games. But
pretty
a lot
interesting.
of people are quick to point out that there's dialogue in the game files that was cut from the final release, where Freddy says that Gregory is bleeding. Specifically, he says,
"Your arm is cut badly,
and
I am detecting blood. You are injured."
This, for many people, disproved that Gregory's an animatronic, and I actually have two things to say about that. First, when I've used cut lines of dialogue in the past, the internet has in no uncertain terms told me that I can't. But now apparently it's okay. Kinda inconsistent there, guys, and honestly, I think cutting it, regardless of the reason,
people are
shows
crazy.
that it didn't fit the final creative
Just
intent
don't
of the
listen to
game.
them.
But anyway, if that's the case, then I gotta bring this line up. A cut line of dialogue discovered by GB Aura Recharged in the game files. This one is Freddy saying,
"Gregory, I know why you're not in the customer database. I remember you from the..."
and it cuts off. Obviously, it's vague. It's kept very intentionally vague. But it also shows that Gregory is special in a way that the other disappeared kids aren't. There's a reason he's not in the customer base. He's from somewhere specific that Freddy knows about. If I were to guess, I'd say like the underground pizzeria, but you know, that's just me hypothesizing. Adding to the Gregory is special idea is the fact that Chica knows his name. She calls it out in the middle of the pizzeria.
Yeah, like how does...
detail for a kid who supposedly has no records in the system. Secondly, and
It's true. I was wondering that myself.
Bad news here, but in the books, because everybody loves when I go back to that well, animatronic children do actually bleed. They can also cry and feel cold. Heck, they can even feel hungry and eat. And you don't even have to go to the books for that one. You can just see it with Chica's pizza obsession in Security Breach. So to tell me that a robot child can't bleed, yeah, I think you gotta really look at the franchise that we're talking about here. And for everyone who is confused about the timeline
Why'd you have to bring up Schoolgirl Chica?
Alive and the fact that he would be older at this point, that wouldn't actually be the case. Animatronic children in the books stay at whatever age they're built to be. Charlotte Emily actually had 4 separate versions of herself built, one for each stage of her life, so that way she could grow older, but she would just assume a new animatronic body each time. So Crying Child still being young
so
would actually
weird.
make more sense here. And to everyone saying, why would he say stuff like,
"Don't want to be crushed and twisted into a meat pretzel"?
no, again, Charlotte in the books is shocked to learn her true nature in the final chapters. Her consciousness had been grafted onto a childhood toy while she was alive, and after her tragic death had been placed inside of a robot body to function as her memory. So for all she knew, she was just a normal human being just like anyone else. Is it dumb? Yeah, I'll say that it is. Is it complicated? Oh yeah, absolutely. But is it giving us insight into the rules that Scott and everyone who touches this universe operate by? Yes. It undeniably is. Lastly, for everyone who spammed my feed with pictures of sad white boys in striped shirts saying that
Oh my
you found
God,
Crying
Chara.
Child, thank you for your help uncovering the lore. I get the joke. All white boys with brown hair and striped shirts are apparently the Crying Child. But remember what series we're talking about here, friends. Visual design details have always been an important part of figuring these games out. Take
That's
a
what
look
people
at
don't
Baby.
understand.
During Sister Location, she has green eyes.
It's also just
But
a theory,
when you play her
relax.
minigame, she has blue ones. At least until she kills Elizabeth Afton, who, lo and behold, had green eyes.
Yeah.
Superficial design features like this help us to connect the dots. Are they the be-all and end-all of evidence? No, but they do help support an argument. So a little brown-haired boy in shorts with a shirt and 2 stripes seems sus.
Have you ever heard of Among Us, Gregory?
Speaking
Yo,
of
Toilers.
eyes, for all the
Hey.
complaints about the last episode, no one seemed to have
That's
any
awesome.
answers to
Good
what I
job,
see as
man.
the 2 strongest pieces of physical evidence here. Why does Gregory look different when Freddy gets Roxy's X-ray eyes?
You look different to me.
And secondly, why
Yeah.
does Gregory's vision glitch when he sees Vanny?
That-
Why
dude,
does he
this
have
is
such a
all
weird
so
visual reaction
true.
to her and to literally no other character in the game? Well, you hear that high-pitched ringing sound as Vanny skips and gets closer? It seems to be a disruptor that makes her invisible to animatronics with older model eyes. In the fire ending, Freddy, who couldn't see her at any point in the game, explicitly says,
I can see you now. I have new eyes.
I mean, this is exactly how the much-hated sound illusion discs from the books work, creating a high-frequency sound to make people and robots invisible and or look differently, but I'm already fighting a losing battle over here, so I'm just gonna gloss over that one. Anyway, to me, it reads as Gregory's robotic eyes being
Freaking
disrupted.
sun, bro.
I mean, why have CRT lines over the screen and not some other type of filter to show that his vision is getting disrupted? In fact, why have the same CRT lines as the security cameras all around the pizza plat?
Super
but there's
true,
one final
man.
piece of evidence I'd like to talk about to help solidify that previous theory before we move on, and that is the screenshot here of the final scene from the Savior ending.
This is
where
really
you rescue
good.
Vanny from the controller glitch trap. And I use quotation marks here because there aren't any official sources giving names to the various endings. In the game files, they're just labeled as S1, S2, and S3 based on the number of stars that you get for them. It is worth noting,
You get
though,
stars?
that
Am I
this
dumb?
is the only 3-star ending that currently exists, which seems to imply that it has some level of importance to it. But here we see
It
our
makes
three
so
main
much
characters,
sense. The
Gregory,
ice
Freddy,
cream,
and Vanessa, all sitting
the
on a hill,
popsicle.
which, as I pointed out last time, is very similar to the FNAF 6 gravestone hill. But
Yeah.
that's not what's important here. What I want to point out is the ice cream. Gregory is holding a golden Freddy-shaped
With the frontal
ice cream
lobe
with
bitten
part
off.
of its head bitten
Come on,
off.
man.
If Gregory is not meant to parallel back to the crying child in any way, shape,
It's
or
got
form,
to.
then this detail is just mean and irresponsible. This ice cream is the crying child's story coming full circle. He was terrified of animatronics and ended up being bitten by the Golden Freddy spring suit, but now he's the one sitting on a hill taking a big old bite out of Golden Freddy. That is not me reading too much into this. That is me lightly interpreting a very clear image that was put directly into this game by the designers.
Come on, it's got to, dude. Makes so much sense.
And despite him wearing a blue shirt in most of the endings, here his shirt is colored purple, just like his father's signature color. Couple that with literally
sure that's just
everything
not
else,
the sun?
his lack of records, the fact that he goes into the charging station. So I stand
That
by
too.
my theory that Gregory is an animatronic of the crying child. Is it a perfect answer? No. Do I love the fact that it complicates the lore even more? No. But does it answer the most questions with the evidence that we have? I believe it does, and it's a heck of a lot better than Fazgoo. But now, 4 pages into this episode, let's actually
my
stop
goodness.
to talk about Vanessa, shall we? Last episode, I made a passing statement about how this final image felt to me like the 3 Afton children getting reunited. Crying child, Michael, and Elizabeth Afton, William's daughter that done got scooped by baby back in sister location. It's a scene that, to me, feels like the narrative finally giving them a sense of closure after they quite literally die as a result of their dad's evil deeds. Last time, I briefly made mention of Vanessa's blonde hair and green eyes, which is the same as Elizabeth. And here, in this ending, we actually see 2 scenes of her wearing the signature Afton purple. Even the ice cream cone, as opposed to something like Gregory's novelty pop, is a potential callback to her death, where baby delivered an ice cream cone to her before she did the scoop. And when you look at the
Scoopy.
connections between these 2 characters, it's more than just a couple of visual similarities. The biggest secret in Security Breach right now is a series of 16 retro CDs, invisible collectibles that only Freddy can see, hidden in every obscure corner of the game's map. Then, to play these things, you actually need to have also found the secret sister location.
Aw,
that we
man,
talked
I
about
wanna
last
check this
time.
out.
Now, these CDs are, they're problematic. They open up a whole separate can of worms. They're recordings of therapy sessions following 2 separate individuals, patient 46 and patient 71. The exact identity of patient 46 is a theory for next time that will absolutely launch us into yet another flame war, but early in patient 71's tapes, we learned that it's actually Vanessa speaking.
Hello, Vanessa. How are you feeling today?
These are recordings from therapy sessions that Vanessa had while she was at the job for the FNAF AR game's special delivery. She mentions speaking to a man named Lewis on several occasions, and we discover that she's also buying fake fur, both of which are things that we see in emails from FNAF AR. By the last of Vanessa's recordings, she's leaving that job for a new job somewhere else, most likely the job of security guard here in Security Breach.
I'm needed somewhere else now.
But let's dive into the good
I
stuff, shall we?
need to
In
check
Vanessa's
all of
second
those
tape,
out.
we learn
I need
about
to
a
go back into
custody
the
battle
game.
that happened between her parents. Her dad won using manipulative tactics, forcing his daughter to falsely testify.
Your dad made you follow instructions, didn't he? I'm talking about the custody battle between your mum and your dad. Your dad didn't play fair, did he? He used to make your mum look bad in court.
After losing custody of her daughter, Vanessa's mother, well, here's what the tape does.
I know your mum after she lost the custody case.
It glitches,
What?
implying that her mother ended her own life, which would explain
God.
why Mrs. Afton is missing from all the games, and why
Yeah.
she may have wound up being rebuilt as the motherly Ballora in sister location. A robot that, wouldn't you know it, sings about her inescapable depression now that the walls of her house are empty.
All I see is an empty room. No more joy, an empty tomb.
We also hear Vanessa lines like this.
Oh, you like those? Apparently, the janitor on this floor has a garden and has been putting bouquets in the offices here for years.
Vanessa likes flowers. A small detail, but you know me, small details could often be the biggest evidence. Who else do we know in the series that has an affinity for flowers? Well, think back to FNAF 4. Remember this random empty bedroom with a huge portrait of a flower?
No
on the wall?
way,
It's
dude.
Elizabeth's room before she got scooped.
No.
Then you have Vanessa lines like this.
Lots of people know more than I do. Sometimes I need to listen.
Now, this might be a stretch, but I believe it's referring to when Elizabeth got scooped by Baby. Her dad had repeatedly and explicitly warned her not to go near Baby, but she didn't listen. And in doing so, she ended up getting herself trapped inside the animatronic.
Don't tell Daddy that I'm here. I wanted to watch a show too. I don't know why he won't let me come see you. You're wonderful.
Vanessa also says in her tapes
man.
that she doesn't like dark basements.
I have a craft space in my basement. Maybe I could come up with something you could learn to do.
I don't like dark basements.
It's another line that seems to be pointing us in the direction of Baby, who was trapped underground for years in Circus Baby's entertainment and rentals, looking for a way back to the surface.
I've been out before, but they always put me back. They always put us back inside. There's nowhere for us to hide here. There is nowhere to go.
And to put one final nail in this coffin, right back in the second CD, we actually learn the name of Vanessa's father.
I feel like I know your dad, too. Bill, right?
Bill,
Bill,
short for
William, dude.
That's just the game trolling us with the coincidence, right?
Come on.
Wrong. You see,
What?
going back to FNAF AR, we learned that
Bro,
Vanessa's
that's-
last name begins with an A. From there, we can connect the dots. Bill A, William Afton. But didn't Baby
So
burn at the
true.
end of FNAF 6?
Yeah, but
yeah, she did.
the building's
but you see
below.
how effective that was.
How are you not dead? I mean, to be fair, the thought that burning him is going to work is stupid, because people have tried to burn him to death no less than 3 times in this franchise. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work.
But here's the kicker. At the end of the game, we meet the Blob, a weird tentacle monster made up of all the original members of the series. FNAF 1's Chica and Bonnie, FNAF 2's Mangle,
I didn't see
Sister
Bonnie in there.
Location's Funtime Freddy, a random endoskeleton crawling out of the bottom, the puppet mask without tears, I might point out, and
Oh, yeah.
Baby's face. Now, don't get me started on this being Baby's original face and not Scrap Baby's updated look where she came back to FNAF 6 in.
It should have
I
been that.
Words about that.
It
Anyway,
should be
look at them all
that.
here on screen. You notice anything strange? Most of the animatronics' eyes are lit up. Funtime Freddy, Chica, Mangle, even this random endoskeleton at the bottom. But now take a look back at Baby's mask. The eyes are blacked out. So although the Blob has absorbed Baby's body during the burning
soul
down of
is
Freddy Fazbear's
Gonzo.
pizza place, her spirit, the spirit of Elizabeth Afton, is no longer present. It is unaccounted for. It is on the loose, and as such, potentially at large within the game. Is she, in some way, Vanessa? And if so, how? The truth is, I don't know. This game has got my brain in so many knots I might as well be a sailboat. I don't think there's any evidence to support any conclusion at this point in time. But I
No, but it's
do know
really
that
good.
This is what the evidence is heavily pointing us towards. The design similarities, the missing spirit, the purple color, the ice cream, the voice lines, the personality traits, and again, the narrative theme of 3 Afton kids reuniting and moving on after a traumatic past. It gives everyone this nice full circle ending, even if it's only meant to be symbolic. And the screen really does feel like it's the end, finally, for these 3 characters. Maybe next time we'll finally see some new faces. So enough about that.
Yeah, what about
Moving past those 3,
FNAF
there's
Into
still
Madness?
other
We still got
mysteries
that
we have to
game.
solve here. What happened to Glamrock Bonnie? Who is Patient 46 and why are they here? What's the deal with that room full of post-it notes? Yeah, you forgot about that one, didn't you? It's important. And did you happen to notice the other missing animatronic from this game? Because I certainly did, and I think they might be
Talking
hiding
about Foxy?
in plain sight. So next time, we get to cover some mysteries that don't require us talking about dead characters getting rebuilt into robots. Scratch that. We're talking about William Afton. That's kind of unavoidable at this point. Oh, this
Yeah.
franchise is so ridiculous. Anyway,
my
next time we're
gosh.
gonna sweep up a few other mysteries as we try to make more sense out of the game that quite literally threw everything against the wall to see what would stick. Speaking of things sticking on walls, why don't you spice up your decor with some 80s-tastic magnetic
Oh my
posters
goodness
that stick on your
gracious.
walls that
Maybe
today's
next
sponsor-
time, Matt. Dude, the sun. every day. I mean, I love Sun, but God, dude, okay, I'm just gonna briefly explain this. Like, that actually made so much sense. The final ending, okay, that one good ending, I guess you get when you save Vanessa from the Vanny, I guess you would say, from being under control. She and Gregory and Glamrock Freddy's head all sitting on that hill. You know, I said it when I did the ending, okay, that Gregory has the bitten popsicle of, you know, the Golden Freddy. That just made so much sense that he is the crying child, okay, and that he could be a robot, all right? Michael Afton being Glamrock Freddy makes a lot of sense as well. Even when you go down to meet Afton himself, Glamrock Freddy said, all of my friends are here, and it just makes so much sense that he is Michael from, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria Simulator. And then Vanessa having the ice cream at the end just makes so much sense that she is Vanessa Afton, being that her last name starts with an A and that her dad is named Bill, which is short for William. Come on. Love it. Yes. Well, guys, that was another Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach game theory video done by Matt Pat, the game theorist. And this one titled FNAF The Secret Afton made a whole lot of sense and could be very true. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I want to know your thoughts on this as well. And everything will be linked in the description down below so you can check everything out for yourself, obviously, along with the Game Theorist channel. Please go subscribe if you enjoyed this. Make sure to check the GoFundMe page in the description. We've donated so much already. You guys are absolutely amazing. I have the best fans, and it's amazing. And it would be nice if you could at least just donate a little bit if you haven't yet already. So like if you enjoyed, guys, subscribe for some more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. So, bye!